The third best of 5 of the evening starts on Abyssal Reef, spawning to the bottom right hand corner in pink. Playing Protoss for O Gaming, and France is Midastouch. And to the top left in orange, playing Protoss for Revival Gaming, and the US of A, it's Koshkii. Playing fairly pregnant. Sending out an early probe. PvP! And it's not player versus player. So let's see. Last time these two faced each other, I really have to look how they played. I actually wanted to do it before the cast, but then forgot about it. Because they faced each other throughout the last season as well. And I would have really loved to see how the game went. Maybe one of you nice folks can go to the FSL webpage and have a good look. Ooh, gas steal by Koshkii. Sneaky little move over there. Midas not being aware of it at all. Did not even think of the possibility that the opponent might actually take the assimilator. So now she's stuck with one gas while her opponent is preparing a heavy push on only one base out of 2 gases. So that could actually be fairly problematic for Midas here. Midas should actually freak out at that point in time if your opponent steals gas. I mean, yeah, sure, some players might just do it because they can. But normally, if you're playing in a higher class or in a higher league, and your opponent takes your gas, they usually are up to something. But Midas is just countering as well, placing down a proxy pylon to the right-hand side of the natural base. So let's see what building we will actually see spawned. Mothership core for both sides. So yeah, usually your opponent plans some sort of tech push with some units that you can usually only stop when you have your own second gas available. Okay, probe just moving around, waiting for someone who's put a finish. No, maybe waiting for a little bit more money. Probably going to be a Stargate, I feel. Maybe wants to build some oracles and send them into the main base, into the natural base. Never mind. So gas will be free in just a few seconds. And there it sings, and I'm free! And then it gets taken once more. But by the right person this time around. Assimilator probably feeling much better. Or maybe it's just going to be a warp in pylon, and then we will see Midas throw down a gateway somewhere, so that she will be able to have some quick warp-ins. But she's not doing anything with the proxy pylon for now. May was just expecting her opponent to do something that never happened. Ooh, a lot of sentries there for Koshkii. A lot of gas going into sentries there. Very early on. Maybe just wants to make sure that she could always seal this ramp off with a force field. Or maybe even that part over here with 2 force fields. Fairly interesting move there. Still doesn't know about the proxy pylon. And there! It finally comes. No? Oh, there it is. Stargate. A little bit late, actually. But yeah, I mean, the proximity will make up for the lateness of the Stargate. So the Oracle should still come fairly early on. But looks as if someone has not watched any of Koshkii's PvP VODs, because Koshkii is known for being very, very secure against Oracles of all kinds. She usually has enough Stalkers at wherever her Mothership core is not. So this base usually gets covered by Mothership core and 2 pylons, so no chance for Oracles to really deal that much damage, unless the Mothership core is a little bit out of position and will take a little bit time to fire up these pylons before the Oracle can actually set up the beam. But yeah, over here we have like 4 Stalkers, 2 right in the middle line and 2 more around here, plus the sentries as well, so also not really much chance for the Oracle to deal that much damage. Might actually get taken out before it can get like 3 workers, maybe 2. It depends on the micro, of course. So let's see how it's going to work out. Midas sends an observer across the map, wants to see what her opponent is teching to, and even getting a pylon over here just for scouting purposes. She doesn't want to be surprised by a force sneaking into her natural base via the 3rd base. So there's the Oracle. How many kills does it get? 2. And like I said, that's it. 2 kills. And then it gets taken out. Koshkii, Oracle proof. Has always been, will probably always be. So let's see if Koshkii actually has the idea that that could have been a proxy Oracle. Probably not. I mean, the timing is around when a normal Oracle would hit your base. So that could actually work out a little bit better here for Midas. Going into the 2nd Oracle, while Koshkii is not expecting another Oracle to come in. But there's no defenses over here again, so maybe the 2nd Oracle might be able to deal some more damage. Koshkii in the meantime going into Templar Archives, probably not to get Storm, but to get High Templars she can transform into Archons. Where is the Oracle? There it is. So let's see. This time around, okay, there's a Photon Cannon warping in. Yeah, I mean, there was a very, very small timing window. It's still open, but it will only be for a few more seconds. And it will probably close before Midas moves in. Yep, there's the cannon now, so not really much that can be done with the Oracle now. Maybe a little bit here or there. Again, it depends on good micro. If you just move in, kill like one thing, move out, move in, kill one more before the Photon Cannon deals too much damage. There is something you can do. Koshkii in the meantime has already taken her 3rd base. Not really that big of an army here by Midas. I mean, we have a little bit more army supply for Midas, but once she starts walking across the map, Koshkii will probably have caught up. Yeah, that is correct. Nexus, 3rd Nexus for Midas, but way later than that of her opponents. Yeah, and that is of course something that you can know about Midas when studying and analyzing her games. That Midas is usually a very, very laid-back player. Does not really like to engage before her army is close to maxed, or even maxed plus upgraded. So she's usually pretty passive, and if you know that, you can of course be a little bit more aggressive with your expansion patterns, thus getting a good lead in economy, and maybe hitting maxed a little bit earlier than her and attacking her before the tedious carrier versus carrier battles begin. So let's see, even getting the old school Colossus here. No disruptors. More immers though for Koshkii, so she really packs a heavy punch. Also has, is that a void ray? Oh no, it looked a little bit interestingly over there because you could just see the end behind the mothership core, which looked kind of a void ray. So yeah, there we have the High Templars. We'll probably get fusioned into Archons in just a matter of seconds, and of course the Fleet Bacon for Midastouch. So Fleet Beacon in the making and a few more Stargates. Yep, she loves her carriers in the end game. And she loves getting there. So prepare, everyone, for a pretty drawn out series, no matter how long it's going to take. Or if it's going to be a 3-mapper, or a 4-mapper, or 5-mapper. 4th base already incoming for Koshkii. Again, way ahead in terms of expanding. So like I said, her income and her economy should be way better than that of her opponents. Still, it does not really matter if you cannot crush the next army of your opponent. So, what is going on? Midas is not maxed, but she's moving out. What the hell in the what? Okay, probably already regretting it. Yeah, maybe she just didn't want to be as predictable anymore, or just wanted to test the waters here. Koshkii will break through these rocks, no problem, and will then easily go into the 4th. Midas will have to cancel this. There's no way she can hold this. Especially not with the army she has at the moment. She will probably be able to defend the third though, with the pylons, the cannons, and the photon overcharge. But yeah, the fourth gets cancelled. So Koshkii on the full move, wants to kill her opponent right here, right now, moves right into the photon overcharges, still has a lot of heavy hitters inside her army on the ground, but there's also quite of an okayish army for Midas. Still though, the army of Koshkii just closing in with all the speedlots, taking out all of the important damage dealing units before they can actually deal their damage, and will now either try to... Okay, actually the Zealots just charging everything away while the main army can easily pick up that third base, and that must be it. GG! And Koshkii takes the first map. Proxima Station. We have Midas to the upper right, Koshkii to the lower left. PvP it is once more. This map is actually good for all kinds of stuff. Last time we saw Koshkii play on this map in a PvP, it was against Poison, and she did a mean little proxy over here, breaking through the debris and then attacking from behind. Actually, Poison was able to defend it for quite some time, but eventually got overwhelmed. So let's see if Koshkii wants to do the same thing once more or not. Will be interesting to see where this probe is actually headed to. No, this one, not the other one. Assimilators in the making. Okay, high five between the probes. And we were there to see it. So early expansion for Midas once more. So this is going to be a usual scout. No probe moving forwards, so it seems. But actually there's still some time. She can always just throw down a Nexus. Nah, okay, never mind. Not going to be any sort of proxy build, it seems. Just the usual standard macro game once more. Might even be able to keep this probe from planting down that base down here. Well, Koshkii trying to delay the base for a little bit more, but there's two probes. Has to run away if she wants to save it, but cannot. So first blood for Midas. Mothership core. What will we see after the Nexus, though, is the big question. Probably a robo, I guess. And what's it going to be for Midas? The suspense is killing me. And here we go, robo. How unexpected. Stargate, though. For Midas. Ooh, totally missed that proxy over here once more. Will she go for an Oracle once more after the debacle on the last map? I don't know. I mean, like I said, Koshkii is known to be Oracle-proof. She's already producing the first few Stalkers. And will probably, and already has one in position, will send the second one into here as well. So again, Oracle will not really be able to do anything. And yeah, I mean, deducting from this position, it must be an Oracle. Yep. So again, nice try, will probably not really work out again. So again, a lot of lost resources there. But she's doing the same. Also has a Stalker in place, but Koshkii known for not really oracling. I mean, that's actually not quite true. She's experimented around with Poison's build, constructing a lot of oracles early on, and then just flying into the opponent's base. But I think that was not in PvP. Not in PvP. But rather in PvZ. So, Immortals on construction. Robotics facility now for Midas as well. And again, like we said, Midas not really being the all too aggressive part, or the all too aggressive player. Yeah, and like I said, Koshkii being totally Oracle proof. No way to get any damage done. Might even want to fly into the main base, but like I said, there's the Mothership Core well placed here. So yeah, firing up the first pylon already. Does have enough energy for the other two as well. Just barely does not get it, so nice micro there by Midas, saving that Oracle, which is really important to not lose it. Did it deal any damage? 1 kill. Yeah, that was totally not worth it so far. But of course, Oracle still might prove some value later on in the game with Stasis Wards, for example, or the Revelation spell, if need be. Void Rays now being produced for Midas. Seems as if she wants to go into a heavier air army this time around early on, or she just wants to make the best use out of this Stargate since she's built it anyways. Twilight Council incoming. Will we see DTs around actually? Haven't really seen a lot of DTs, especially in the PvP matchup lately. Which I'm actually kind of sad a little bit, I have to say. I mean, Poison usually was our DT queen, but, and that's kind of right, she's explained to us that since her name is DT Queen, everybody expects her to go DTs. So she does not really build any DTs anymore against players that know her playstyle, because they will probably be prepared anyways. But I actually have to say that at that point in time, the opposite might actually be true, because since we haven't seen her play the DTs at all anymore, I think maybe people might not expect her to play DTs. It might as well, so it might work out once more. I think that would be really a nice thing for Poison to do, to just eventually go into DTs again, because people will not expect her to do that anymore, since she hasn't really played DTs in ages, at least not in the FSL. Templar Archive incoming for the Archons. We are Koshkii mostly going for the same army composition as in game 1. No! And as I speak about it, we see the Dark Shrine. Even though Koshkii is not really behind, well, maybe she is. I mean, in army supply, the income is looking a little bit better for her, but her third base is not really that much. Actually, it is quicker. So no. I mean, yeah, army-wise, she's not looking that great, but it's okay. She has 2 pylons in position, plus some army units over here. And again, Midas not really being the aggressive player. So, like I said, you can't really get away with things like that if you know your player well. That's like the totally different thing of a best of 5 in a league like the FSL compared to a usual ladder game, where your opponent just doesn't know who you are most of the time. So you can just play whatever you want. It will always surprise your opponent if he or she just doesn't happen to know you from somewhere else. Maybe because you're a streamer, maybe because they know your name. But yeah, that's very rarely. While in a best of 5 in a league like the FSL, your opponent definitely has the chance to prepare for the games between you. For the games between you two. So you always have to take that into account, that the opponent will know your playstyle, your usual playstyle, and might just actually hard counter it if you're not careful. And that's what usually makes people getting better within the league, if they actually take playing in a league seriously, because they know that they can't really play the same shit forever and ever, because they will get figured out eventually, and will then just start to lose consequently. Koshkii breaking through the rocks will go for the same, almost the same timing attack as on map 1. This time around, though, there's a lot of stuff there ready to greet her. We have a lot of Immortals, we also have Speedlots ready. We also have a nice little wall with gates here that will make it way more difficult for Koshkii to just break through with all of these units. I mean, especially these zealots would get funneled between these buildings and then can just easily get taken out by like the Archon splash damage. That would be really nice. But of course, Koshkii, again, doing the smart thing, getting a fourth base up earlier than her opponent. She's been ahead in expansions throughout all the 2 games so far. Stargate now also incoming for her. Midas has not yet tried to transition into... there's a little prison. Has not yet tried to transition into Sky Toss. So, okay, more DTs being walked in, but they don't really work. We have Zealots around plus a Photon Cannon. Koshkii was obviously expecting her opponent to only have Photon Cannons, but the other Dark Templar, in the meantime, managed to get 13 workers killed. So again, big advantage there for Koshkii. But the Void Ray gets the Prism. That's, of course, a really big thing here, but where's the... Okay, there it was. Right behind that pylon here, so that's why I couldn't see it. DT just killing a few more workers over at the natural. Or actually the third base. This time around. Okay, that was really a nice move. Just avoiding the direct confrontation at the front and instead smuggling in the DTs that could just get a few kills. And while Midas was, as we, distracted by the DTs inside the natural base, she just also dropped another one into the main and killed off a lot of workers. While taking a 4th base right behind it, and no 4th base whatsoever for Midas, has not even broken through this debris over here, is taking the conservative, normal, boring base over to the right hand side. This target is still alive. Midas also having at least one observer in an important location, not so much against this army though. So let's see, this is a lot of firepower. Archons, Immortals, and a hell of a lot of Zealots, plus 2 Warp Prisms. So even if one gets sniped... Oh no, okay, that was Koshkii, never mind. I thought you just caught a few units off guard out in the open. And I don't know, this fight should actually work out a little bit more differently this time around. Oh, sorry, never mind. Koshkii fighting right underneath all of these photon overcharges here. 2 being fired up. Also a lot of Void Rays that she can't really fight against because she doesn't really have that much anti-air. And Midas holds this time fairly easily. Now having... now actually chasing down a few of these mortals. Koshkii in full-out retreat. But, even loading up the 2 immortals into the Warp Prism so that she will at least save these 2. And now finally the army arrives at the 4th base of Koshkii. Don't really know if she will be able to hold it. Just tries to micro her best with all of the immortals here, dropping both of them down. We have some static D as well. More units incoming here though, and it seems as if Midas will just have the overwhelming numbers eventually. Will tear down the base down here, while having up a 4th of her own. So this could snowball pretty quickly. 78 to 20 for army supply especially. The question is, will Midas be daring enough in order to walk right into natural? Or will she be afraid of Koshkii already having put up her defenses again, so that she won't be able to just walk in? No, she tries it. She at least goes and tries, wants to see how many units are there and if she can break through. And Koshkii retreats into her own established static defenses here, wants to use as much firepower as possible, while luring her opponent into the choke point, trying to play 300 with her. But unfortunately, the Persian army is too strong and eventually overwhelms the 300. GG! And Midas takes the 2nd game for 1-1 tie. Odyssey is our next map. Koshkii to the bottom right, Midas to the top left. So Midas got the time. Where will she go from now? On paper, if we just have a short look at the FSL ranking, she's definitely the underdog. Koshkii, the one people would expect to win this series. But will she live up to her favorite role? Or to her role as a favorite? Or will Midas manage to do the upset? We don't know. It's a secret. Yet to be unraveled. So, probes greeting each other in the middle of the map. Double gateway opening for Koshkii. Double gas opening. And only one gate for Midas. Going into quick Analytics core. So let's see if Koshkii will actually be able to deal some damage with the first early units. Or if she just also will use them for defensive purposes. Probe running around. Ooh, might actually no. Does not try to hide it as somewhere in a sneaky corner. Oh, I remember good old Wings of Liberty days where you always had a probe moving into a dark corner of your base, building a proxy pylon here, waiting for warp gate to getting chrono boosted out, and then eventually just warping in units into your unsuspecting opponent's base, and thus killing them. Something that unfortunately doesn't work too often anymore nowadays, but it was still funny as hell. So Koshkii with a pylon block, so Midas cannot take her own base as quickly as she would have liked, but she's just avenging herself. Repaying the kindness. Stalkers for Midas, but Stalkers already out for Koshkii as well. So again, she will be safe against Oracles. We'll now take out that pylon down here and then eventually get the base. Oh, actually it looks as if Koshkii actually did not let this pylon finish. So Midas now has the chance to get the Nexus a little bit earlier than her opponent. So Nexus going down. Actually, about 20 seconds earlier. So more Stalkers, and then we have again 2 Sentries. Fairly interesting again to see that much gas invested that early on. Robotics right behind it. And then we have the first push by Koshkii, moving across the map with a few Stalkers, because she has still 2 Stalkers at home, so even if an Oracle were to fly in, she would have the necessary defenses. But yeah, now we have the pylon plus 2 fresh Stalkers to the, well, it's only shield damage so far, but still. No way that Koshkii can actually win this fight in the long run. So she retreats once more. Fully retreat or only a little bit? No, fully retreat. Doesn't really want to get these valuable Stalkers trapped out in the middle of the map. Forge, so I guess we can say that Koshkii actually wants to go into a longer macro game once more. The Forge tells us that she wants to get some upgrades for her units, and getting upgrades only makes sense. I mean, there are some timings where you want to get a special upgrade because it makes the timing push that much more valuable, but in PvP, getting an early Forge, it usually shows that the opponent wants to go into a macro game, because the upgrades usually usually kick in later in the game, because they just take quite some time to research, so you can't really use them for quick assaults. You usually just want to make your whole army a little bit better later in the game. So also getting charged, so we will probably see again the same composition once more, just waiting for the Templar Archive or the Dark Shrine in order to get the Archons out as well. Will Koshkii be successful this time again or not is the question. So same for Midas, also preparing for the long game, which is fairly typical for her, because like we said before, Midas likes to sit back a little bit, turtle, and attack once she feels comfortable to do so. I mean, even last game it was Koshkii who attacked into her, not the other way around, before Midas crushed Koshkii's army and then eventually moved out after realizing, well, I just killed your whole army, huh? So maybe I can just walk across the map and kill you right now. So again, we have the Templar archives for Templars that can then be transformed into Archons. Templars being a little bit more heavy on the gas, but therefore a little bit less heavy on the minerals. So if you have like a lot of gas banked up and you want to get rid of it, High Templars getting morphed into Archons is the best bet. War Prism may be on the move. First 4 High Templars getting transformed into Archons. And again, a lot of heavy hitters inside the army. Midas still ahead in overall supply, also getting units. Her unit production has not been interrupted at all. 3 more gateways for Koshkii, even 4 now. And also the Templar archives for Midas. It will be a little bit later than that of her opponents. But she's going into Void Rays again, trying to build up the same composition she had in the last game, which helped her to magnificently hold the push of doom of Koshkii. So Koshkii, interestingly, going over toward the 3rd base, is maybe expecting a 3rd to be there. In the meantime, we have the Oracle coming in, and this time around getting value out of itself by killing off 4 workers without dying itself. So another weapon moves into the 3rd, but we'll see that it's not there, which might actually be a little bit disappointing. Okay, it's not there, or maybe not, and now just moving up onto the plateau. Might actually check for the other 3rd as well. Okay, wants to, but the army is already there. A little bit of an unfortunate beginning of an engagement there for Midas here, because she got caught a little bit out on the map, not very close to her own static defenses here. Yeah, Sandstorm the Zealots really wants to know if there's another base. The Zealots find the pylon over here, will take it out, because it's just a thing you can get for free, so why not take it? 100 minerals that we will have to replace eventually. But she has oversupply anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And here's the big engagement this time around. Is Midas ready, though, is the question. Whoa, this time around, the Void Ray charged up again is dealing a lot of damage. But now on the ground, it seems as if Koshkii might just barely have more than her opponent. Especially with the reinforcements here. Midas also going into the speed lots there. So it looks in speed lot numbers, they both look kinda identical. A little few more speed lots though for Koshkii here. And of course her own Archons will shred through most of these, yeah. And Zealots, once close to the rest of the army, can deal tremendous amounts of damage. GG! And Koshkii takes the 3rd game for a 2-1 lead. Blood Bowl it is. To the bottom right, we have our leading player, Koshkii in orange. And to the top left, being down 1-2, can she bring it back? It's Midastouch. Gateway going down. Nothing all too spectacular, though. The question, again, will be who's going to take which base. Will they both take the backdoor expansion, or will they take the frontal expansion? Or will they maybe go for a gold cheese? Probably not. So, double gas and only 2 in gas for Koshkii. 2 and 2. So we'll probably see a cybernetics core, and then a quicker expansion right behind it. Or the quick expansion and then the cybernetics core. Never mind. But yeah, like I said, this is just the typical thing. And then getting up to 3-3. So Midas still has this probe alive. We'll now maybe check for... Okay, just wants to see the tech incoming, but has blocked herself a little bit here. The pathing was a little bit off and now gets adjusted. Okay, still wants to check, still has no idea about if there has been a base taken or not. In the meantime, we have more gateways incoming for Midas, wants to play it a little bit more safely, has not taken a base yet. And Midas's probe should actually eventually move out and see that the natural base has already been taken and has finished maybe by that time. Trying to be a little bit of a nuisance here, getting rid of one of that probe, does not get it eventually, and gets taken out before that. Ooh! Unfortunately, yeah, that's actually not the best thing that Midas could have hoped for. I mean, now she doesn't know about the base in front of Koshkii's main. I mean, she can, of course, suspect her opponent to have taken a base anyways, especially with all the tech and buildings around. But yeah, I mean, never know. You usually just want to see whether your opponent takes the base in the back pocket or in the front. And Midas does not have the information now. Of course, we'll have the possibility to get it later on. But for now, she only has to play the guessing game. So, or did she? Okay, the Stalker saw it. I was thinking about there was a Stalker moving out, wasn't there? And there it is. So the Stalker moved out, saw and confirmed that there was indeed a base in front of the main. So, again, like I said before, Koshkii will have the possibility to get all 4 gases instead of the just 3 of Midas. Midas, though, getting her 3rd gas up a little bit more quickly. So for quite some time, it should be okay for her to stay only on 3 gases to the 4 of Koshkii. But in the long run, she doesn't really want to stay on these 3 gases for all too long. Yeah, positions or plants down a gateway so that she will always see when an opponent tries to break through this ice rock. More Stalkers out, rallied towards the natural base, so that Koshkii will again be safe against Oracles, who this time actually around not having the Stalkers stand within the mineral line. So if an Oracle were to come in this time around, it might actually get some kills worth, but no. Okay, now she realizes, wait a second, this is not where my Stalkers usually stand. So she moves them right into the mineral line. Of course, would be kind of awesome now if somebody actually expected her to do that, prepared some sort of proxy push, and came in with a few sentries and caught them right here with a good force field, trapping them right behind it. That would be just awesome. like knowing your opponent exactly that good that you can do something like that, that would be just amazing. Okay, ooh, a little hit squad here within the Warp Prism. 4 Zealots that can easily get transferred into the base. But there's a Mothership Core in place and 2 pylons for Photon Overcharge. So I don't really actually have a 3rd one over here as well. So I don't think that these Zealots will actually achieve as much. Still Midas knows that her opponent has the frontal expansion. So there's no other way to drop this Zealot force. Let's see if it's going to deal damage or not. Maybe killing 1 or 2 probes if Koshkii doesn't react in time. But I think mostly these Zealots will just get killed easily by these pylons. So here we go. Unload. Ooh, actually even hitting the Warp Prism before it can unload. Ooh, that was close. Almost losing it with the full load. That would have been really terrible for Midas. But yeah, I mean, the push was pushed back fairly easily, nothing done at all. So Midas has an observer in place as well, so she would see if her opponent took this base or if she would move out. Okay, a pause, but we don't really... We'll see it. Okay, or not. A little bit of an oversaturated backdoor expansion, but yeah, here you can see it. Because of the 10 mineral pads, it's best to have 20 workers working instead of the 8 mineral patches, where it would be best to have 16 workers working. So the Warp Prism's still on the move. Seems as if Mida still wants to find a small point where she can unload them and make good use of them. And here they come. Like I said, don't really know if they will actually be able to deal that much damage. She doesn't even have charge yet, so the Zealots just walk in slowly. Another big warp in might actually get this upgrade here. No, okay, actually the upgrade just went through, so a little bit too late, unfortunately, but gets the Forge at least. Losing all of the Zealots though, I mean, that was not really well. Had she gotten the upgrade, that would have been huge. But with only the Forge destroyed, she lost like 700 minerals to 150, so that was unfortunately not worth it. Still, a lot of upgrades and production for Midas here, as we can see. Also going for a heavy ground for both players. Not having tried to transition into something air-like, which is really interesting here. And Koshii's on the move. Again, with her favorite composition. Not that many speed lots around this time, but the Warp Prism is on the move as well, and way more Archons. So let's see if she will be able to break through the main entrance. Midas has already choked this position up a little bit by planting down more pylons. I think it would also be still great to like have maybe a gateway or two in the way as well. And I don't know. I don't really know if Midas can actually hold this. Maybe she can, but it will be fairly difficult. I mean, there's a lot of... Where are the Archons? There they come. I mean, there's a lot of Archons in the mix, and we only have Zealots. I mean, Zealots get melted by Archons. And we also have some speedlots for Koshkii as well, but of course Koshkii has to fight against these Immortals and the Photon Overcharges as well. Tries to micro back here a little bit. Not all of the Archons standing in front, tanking all of the damage, but now the Immortals firing from behind. Midas has to retreat into her fortified position, while Koshkii warps in a few more units and taking a third base at the goal, so she doesn't have to overcommit here. She can always retreat. I mean, her opponent has taken her third base at a position where Koshkii took her natural base. Which will result in a little bit less mineral income, of course, because the gold base will grant her extra mineral income, plus the typical gases. But yeah, let's see. Second assault. Let's see if Midas can hold once more, but this is again a really, really mean choke point that Koshkii has to fight through. And, okay, getting at least one charge lot more, but yeah, there's a hell of a lot of Immortals dishing out the damage, while the Photon Overcharges and the Zealots keep everything back in order for the Immortals to shoot from behind. So more tanks being morphed in with the Archons here. Doesn't seem as if Koshkii wants to stop pushing that early on. I mean, she's also keeping up the contain, keeping her opponent afraid of what might come. So Zealot's just crushing into the Archon psionic waves. But again, with the Photon Overcharge and the Immortals especially behind this. Immortals dealing tons of damage, especially with the 2-1 upgrade now. I don't think that Koshkii can break this. I don't really think so. So let's see. If she retreats now... Okay, checks. Probably wants to check for a fourth base down here, and once she sees there's one there, she might just expand, maybe even actually expand a fourth time, and then maybe transition into Sky Toss. We'll see. So army's moving out, looking for a fourth. There's none there. Does she want to go into the... Oh no, she doesn't want to do that, right? Please tell me you don't want to do that. I mean, moving all of your army into these choke points, like one and then another one. Ugh, I don't like this move. I have to say I don't like this move, and Midas has seen it. So yeah, no, there's no way. And then even she could just break this rock tower with all the units underneath it, or trap half of the army while blocking the other half out. That would just be suicidal to walk through this. So I wouldn't really like that move, but Koshkii didn't push it any further, and like I said, she now can easily take... Oh, actually forgot about the backdoor expansion she hasn't taken yet. So yeah, actually just taking a 4th base right behind it, like I said, taking up a little bit more. Same for Midas, moving out with her army a little bit. Ooh, maybe another army engagement, but again, I don't see Koshkii winning this. There's just way more firepower for Midas here with the 9, and say that with me, 9 Immortals. Yeah, just crushing through everything. Look at that immortal firepower. 60 damage versus armored per shot. Crushing through Koshkii's forces. And I think Koshkii just lost her game. Unfortunately, totally underestimated what her opponent was capable of doing here. Trying to get into Psionic Storm, but it doesn't even matter. This base is dead. This base is dead meat. No way for Koshkii to save this. 73 to 26. And still the Immortals are all there and strong. Yeah, army's getting a little bit closer. Might even be able to get one of the 9 Immortals. Now it's only 8 anymore. But yeah, it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. These Immortals will chew through this Nexus in no time. Look at how fast this goes down. And now the 4th base is down. Well, the gold base, it was actually still quite healthy here. And Midas continues her pressure forward. This is actually a nice little choked up position here. So with some... But still, I mean, she just doesn't have the firepower. Had she sacrificed the 4th base and gathered all of her forces back here at the natural base, it might have been enough at that point in time. I still doubt it. But yeah, no, just no way. There's just no way she can fight this army. I mean, these Archons just getting closer to these Immortals, they actually get killed before they can even reach them. Midas also having a tank in front of her army. I mean, she doesn't even have the... She doesn't even have a Warp Prism to back this up, but it doesn't even matter. She's, like I said, she's just crushing through everything. GG! And Midas ties the series for 2-2. This is the last map of this evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's 2-2 between these two players. Rivals Koshkii and O Gaming's own Midastouch. 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2. Can Midas break through the pattern and take the next map first to win the series? Or will Koshkii take it all after all, getting the expected win? Or can Midas do the upset? Defender's Landing, good for all kinds of shenanigans. Let's see what both players are up to. Two of three. Plus the gateway. Ooh, another gateway this time around, not the early expand. Yeah, probably because of the short rush distances and seeing that her opponent has not taken a base of her own. It seems that Koshkii rather wants to have a second gateway up, just in case. Oh, nobody wants to bet on this thing. Looks as if people have gotten uncertain of who's going to take this one. Midas moving out over the white left flank. So, looks as if she just wants to hide something. we might actually see some sort of Dark Templar play. It could still be Oracles, but for an Oracle it's actually pretty far away. I mean, if you just build a Stargate right here and send the Oracle over, it would be as far away as this pylon will be. And maybe she just wants to... looks as if she just wants to have it for scouting? No, okay, never mind. I just looked from the wrong angle. Midas is down here, so of course it's a proxy by Midas, and it's probably going to be an Oracle build once more. Like I said, I don't really like the Oracle builds. I mean, of course, it's just your classical opener, and it's the best way you know how to play your PvP, then of course you can do it. But against Koshkii, I just rather think it's pretty useless, because Koshkii has not had... well, has not shown any weaknesses against Oracles in the game, ever. Like for months. So, if you've studied your opponent's games and seen that your own Oracles didn't really work out throughout the remainder of the best of 5, then I think... ooh, will Koshkii see it? Then I think it's just a waste of money and time. But maybe... okay, it doesn't look as if she really wanted to build anything here. Maybe it actually is some sort of... I don't know. Some sort of scouting pylon? Or maybe she just abandoned it after getting inside the base, seeing what was there. I can't really tell you what this proxy pylon is for then. So, earlier base this time around for Midas though. Koshkii just checking everything for proxy buildings, has not found anything though. While going to robotics, we'll probably go into her typical army mix again, and then try to crush her opponent with a decisive timing attack. Will Midas be prepared for that and hold it? That's the question. Later expansion for Koshkii. Midas' base almost done. Shooting on these poor little rocks, taking them down. What have they done to you, huh? What have they done to you? Poor little innocent, destructible rocks. That was so mean. So, another probe moving out. Midas wants to get some more scouting information. Again, the cooling tower not being taken down. Base almost done for Koshkii as well, but if we have a look at the income, for now, it's looking a little better for Midas. Yeah, so this should even things out. Forge again for Midas. Seems as if she again wants to rather go into the late game. The problem is, will Koshkii let her? Twilight Council right behind it, so I think it's going to be Speedlot Archon Immortal once more. Still that sole, single, lonely pylon over to the left-hand side. It's somehow making me nervous. Whenever I have a look at the minimap, I just see this dot of pink on the minimap, and I'm really, really... really wondering what this is doing there. So, Immortals and the rest of the army standing close by, just in case an Oracle would fly by. Oh, an Oracle flew by, never mind. Charge. Templar Archives, like I said, it's going to be Chargelot Immortal Archon once more. It is a very potential army, or a very potent, sorry, never mind, a very potent army. It has the potential to do a lot of damage. So I really like these pylons by Midas, these scouting pylons all around the map, which will make it so much easier for her to detect things. Yeah, and this is, like I said, this might actually be the one pylon here that if Koshkii actually wanted to take the long route around in order to surprise her opponent, it would get caught by this pylon. Maybe it was there for some sort of proxy she overthought later on. We will never know. So, scouting Hallucinated Phoenix for Koshkii. We'll get in and probably see most of the composition that Midas is going for. Also checking for a third base over here. Might actually not even see. Just wants to check the typical third base positions, and even that one over here, which is probably more unlikely. But still, you never know. You're better thorough and better safe than sorry. So Midas again, trying to get her heavy immortal force, or other way, the immortal heavy force, to a level 2 upgrade, already in the making for Koshkii. Not even in order for Midas here. So in the long run, Koshkii's units should provide more value. Finally, third base going down, but Koshkii knows immediately. Probably wants to get into the main base, but there's the force. At least she now sees what her opponent has and what composition she's going for. Koshkii this time around even going into Storm way more quickly than usually. Has now taken down the cooling tower in order to produce this debris that will seal off this area pretty much. Usually you also want to have like a pylon over here so that you will always realize once this debris gets taken out, because without any buildings close to them you can't really see what's going on behind those, and sometimes you can't even see the health bar of the debris when it's getting taken out. So Midas laying back, wants to get up her economy, but she's already pretty far behind to Koshkii. Koshkii again just a little bit more quickly with her expansions. And then we will eventually see the big clash between armies and who's going to win it. But Koshkii already going for level 3 upgrade, while the level 2 upgrade has not finished for Midas yet. But it probably will eventually. But now also getting the +1 armor upgrade that Midas also hasn't started yet. So like I said, in the long run her units will be a little bit more durable, which might tip the tide of the battle into her favor. Fourth base ongoing for Koshkii. Yeah, she's just embracing. The macro game here. Fourth base also going for Midas. Upgrades, and a lot of units. Both really don't want to engage the other one at that point in time. Now we have 2 Stargates for Midas. Oh, only one. Does she have another one? No. Okay, only 1 Stargate so far. We'll probably see the fleet beacon and then maybe some Stargates later on as well. But we also have a Stargate incoming for Koshkii. Koshkii has also realized that with 4 bases, it is about time to transition into the Golden Armada. The famous and also infamous Protoss Sky Fleet. That can be tough to beat. Like I said, there's the fleet beacon. And I again predict a few more Stargates later on. In the meantime, both players just trying to get all of the upgrades for her ground units. I feel Koshkii really wants to take this gas on this one as well. But she's spending the money quite nicely. A few photon cannons just to help out against the Dark Templar attacks. And now going into Void Rays. Fairly interesting idea. While Midas is going into carriers. And now this is going to become interesting. I mean, Koshkii is ahead in supply. She will have maxed in just a few minutes. Actually, probably only 1.5 minutes. And this carrier is alone. It's a single carrier. She doesn't have a second Stargate yet, so there's no way of producing more carriers at a time. And with the stronger army, and also, I mean, stronger in everything. It's stronger in upgrades, it's stronger in mass. So, we'll see. I mean, once you have a maxed out army, you don't just want to stand there and do nothing, because every second you stand around with a maxed army doing nothing, you're giving your opponent the chance to catch up. I mean, if you know that your opponent has actually hit maxed earlier than you did, if in fact you do know that, but you are the one who's playing catch up, then of course you want to sit on your ass, crossing your fingers, that your opponent won't attack you. But if you are an okay player, or an actually even good player, and you see that your army is maxed, and you actually expect your opponent's army to not be maxed at that time, it would be very stupid to not move out and seek some engagements there. Since your army is probably bigger than theirs, and like I said, every second that passes by and you do nothing, you give your opponent the opportunity to catch up. So it's only one carrier, and most of the Archons are not standing in front, they are not soaking up the damage. A lot of these units have already fallen before the Archons eventually even managed to get up in front. Now trying to lure Koshkii into the choke, but unfortunately not keeping her there. I think that would have been the best Bard to fight her right in that choke point there, keeping her in there, trying to whittle her down a little bit, but Koshkii is just breaking through. Mia's dropping below 100 supply. The one carrier, unfortunately not enough, and the timing hits her cold. GG! And Koshkii takes the series 3-2.